Greetings, fabricators. About 2 months ago, one of my favorite bloggers, Sandeep Pawar, released this wonderful blog, Use an AI Skill as Cell Magic in Fabric Notebooks. Well, we're going to take our AI skill that we previously built, we're going to enhance it a little bit, and that's what we're going to do today. We're making Cell Magic with Microsoft Fabric on Tales from the Field.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Every now and then, a blogger comes along and you just know you're destined to be friends. Well, my friend Sandeep Pawar recently released a wonderful blog on AI skills. The thing that I loved about it was it showed how to be able to take an AI skill that we published and make it a magic cell command. So that's what we're going to do today, but we're also going to show how we change the data source at an AI skill level, how we make some additional changes to the queries that may already exist if we change the sources that we're utilizing, and then also how we can make some changes by adding new questions, adding new context, publishing it, and then using that published skill. By the way, this is the first time you made it over to Tales from the Field. Give us a like and give us a subscribe. We drop content on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Today is an MS Tech Bits. Today is Wednesday, so it's a Fabric Day. You know what? Let's not waste any more time. Let's get over to that great content. All right, I'm in my Fabric workspace, in my data warehouse. The first thing I've got a new table I've added, movie information. This is going to enrich our data and allow me to add some join context to some of the AI skill questions we're going to have. I've got runtime, budget, genre, all kinds of great information. So let's go ahead and go in our AI skill. I'm going to deselect my views. I'm going to select my tables. All I have to do is deselect them and edit them. Now, once I do this, this is going to invalidate the queries for the skills I've already got because I was using views previously. So what I need to do is I need to go in there and I need to set the table names because I've got the same data in my tables, but I'm going to have to change this from these views because I no longer have them selected for my AI skill to be able to use. So you can see I changed my domestic underscore movies table to domestic movie. And then I need to change my movie sentiment to movies sentiment underscore sentiment to movie sentiment. Then I can come in and ask some of the questions that we've already know will work. We've supplied for our skills. What are the top 10 movies by positive sentiment? And then what are the top 10 movies by highest gross? Now let's get to asking a couple new questions. So I'd like to get this join context, right? So what are the top 10 movies by highest gross and what is their budget? Now this should require a join and it does to the movie information table. That's pretty amazing. Okay, so we've got our budget information right there next to our highest grossing movies, but let's expand this. Let's see if we can get distributor and genre as well. Okay, this is great. I can see this is doing really good. We've got our gross, we've got our budget, we've got our genre and our distributor. We could really start to derive some things based off of this and based off of who is successful, at least from this data. But let's add to this even more. Now let's see if we have the sentiment. Now I'm going to tell you right now, I'm fast forwarding through this because this is not going to work out well for me. It didn't do a good job adding that third table as a join. As a matter of fact, it timed out. Now switching over to SSMS, I can tell you, I have right here a query that will allow me to get my positive sentiment. I'm using a correlated subquery for this. But as you can see, I need it to be a left join because I need to get zeros for those movies I don't have sentiment analysis. So let's go ahead and let's add this as an example. We'll add it as an example. What are the top 10 movies by highest gross, their budget, genre, distributor, and what is the positive sentiment? And then let's go ahead and let's add this query. Let's go ahead and close this. And then we're going to re-ask the exact same question to validate that this comes back successfully. So let's go ahead and run it. And as we know our query works. And let's take a look at this. We can see here's our data. And our data looks great. We've got our movie, our budget, our genre, our distributor, our gross. So we can publish this. Now I'm going to make some notes in the publishing of this model so anybody checking the version can understand. We changed the source to tables and we added user context. But now we need to get this for a completely other reason. We're going to go to settings. We're going to go to publishing. And this is going to give us a URL. There's some sensitive information in here, but there's two key things I want us to point out. First, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to throw this in a notepad because I want us to see we've got our workspace ID and we also have an idea good for the endpoint for the AI skill. Now we're going to need those because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in a new notebook. I'm going to use all three things. I'm going to use the notebook and I have a variable for my workspace. I'm going to have a variable for my AI skill. So let's go ahead and hop over into that notebook because now we're going to do the next part. We published this. Let's make it an AI skill. So you can see there's my variables. My URL equals that published URL. The workspace GUID equals my workspace GUID, and the AI endpoint equals my AI skill GUID endpoint. Now, this was the same example that we used once before in the previous video, and it comes straight from the Learn documentation. Which movies have the 10 highest gross? Now, I wanted to go down this path a little bit to take this because I want to show why Sandeep's code is so great. This is the example we get out, and that's a nice text, but I don't want just text. I want this to be potentially in a data frame, so I might be able to record the results in a table. To do that, I have to be able to parse this. I'm going to use Beautiful Soup for this. I'm going to create a data list based off the JSON values, and then I have to apply a schema and a structure to the result set that we get, and then I can pass that through and create a Spark data frame. But every time I ask a question, if it's a different query with different columns, I'm going to have to do that every time. So I don't want to do just that. But that value in Beautiful Soup data list, that was really key because this is the JSON values that are being returned to us every time a query returns. So I'm going to go to Sandeep's code now. And first up, I'm breaking out the pip install semantic link pydamping. I'm splitting out this specifically to make sure that because it's going to restart the kernel process. So I'm going to need to re-invoke my variables, and then I can come back down and I can begin to execute this code. Now I've made a couple changes here. The first thing in changes that I made was there was a difference in some of the classes in some of the JSON. So make sure that matches up because that's going to throw an error. And then those classes are called down here in the try response. So you need to make sure that matches up. Also, I needed to provide the full URL to be able to make this work. So now that I've made these changes, I pulled part of the return out and I also broke out the Ask AI skill. He was giving us all that code as a module. You're supposed to break this out. Now, this is the code he gives us. So I'm supplying my workspace, my AI endpoint, and also a question, which movies have the top 10 highest gross? And I'm sending that through to the AI skill. That's great. It's in a data frame. I love it. I love the results, but we can do better. And Sandeep shows us how. We use this logic right here. We're going to register a magic cell and we're registering it as the function AI skill. So now I can just come down here and say, whack, whack AI skill. What is the breakdown of sentiment for the top 10 movies? And you can see here's my sentiment information, which has different columns than my gross information. I can also expand this, give me the top 30 and give me the breakdown. And I've got it grouped by negative, positive, and neutral. Okay, now let's add some new fun stuff. So what are the top 10 movies by highest gross, their budget, their genre, and distributor? This is a new thing that we added for that skill. Boom. New columns. That's a little bit of fabric magic right there, but it's going to get even better. So you can see we've got our genre, our distributor, our gross, and now let's add the positive sentiment. This runs, and there we go. That's another query that we put in place. Now, this is where we want to get a little bit creative. Let's see if we can break this or not. Now, if it doesn't work, if we were to ask a question, let's change this to negative sentiment and see if it can pick this up. Then we know how to be able to take this question, add it, and republish it. But as I can see, it picked up negative sentiment. It used that example from the query of positive sentiment, and it's interpreting this. Okay, let's try something even harder this time. What are the top 10 movies by highest gross? But let's not just ask for negative. Let's ask for positive, neutral. Positive, neutral, and then negative sentiment. Let's get a breakdown of all three of these, and let's see if it actually produces a result this time. Now, this spanned for quite a while, and I'll be honest, I thought we were close to timing out, but there's that fabric magic right there. We have the breakdown. That skill we gave it, it was able to derive that, and now we've got our movie, our budget, our genre, our distributor, our gross, our positive, neutral, and negative sentiment by breakdown. As you can see, this AI skill is starting to let us really mine our data, so that way we can find amazing ways to be able to use this. And I love it that's an AI skill because I'm lazy. I don't want to have to type code over and over again. I want a skill that I can register and then I can use it. We could embed this in the top of a notebook, have our team be able to run this, calling an AI skill, and then we'd be able to have this so anyone could mine their data and find these insights. talk about a new co-pilot that is easy and ready for you to use. A big thanks to Sandeep Pawar. Absolutely loved that blog, and this was so much fun to go through. By the way, his blog is down in the description of the video, so go give him some clicks. Go check this out. And as always, I want to hear from you. Let's keep this going. Is this useful? Is this something that you think that you might use? Is it make AI skills seem more interesting to you? We would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining us on Tales from the Field. As always, be good to one another. Bye, everybody.
Make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration.